The Buffalo Bills just added a twitchy defensive back. We got some major injury news. We got to wrap up a couple things with Darius Slay. And also today, I want to break down a couple of the new rules coming in 2027 for the NFL. We're going to break it down all in this video. My name is Colin. This is Crack the Table. We're all Bills, no breaks, breaking down Buffalo Bills content every single day. If you are looking for a home of Buffalo Bills content, make sure to join our community, smash the subscribe button, but also smash the like button. Get this video out to more and more Bills fans. But that being said, let's get right into it. The simple and clear news is that that Darnell Savage, the safety that was formerly of the Packers, formerly of the Jaguars, formerly of the Commanders, is now a Buffalo Bill. We just signed him off the waivers from the Commanders. I want to show you a couple clips from him. I'll just let these run in the background while I talk about him. But Darnell Savage is a high-end, twitchy, explosive defensive back. Now, I haven't found too much about why even the Commanders released him. He recently signed a 3-year deal with the Jaguars, and we're only on year 2 of that. He's been around, but he's a fit in this defense nonetheless, and I hope our coaching staff can get the best out of him. But he's 27 years old right now. He's 5'11", 198 pounds, so he's a little bit smaller for a safety. But again, he's a 6-year guy out of Maryland, 66 career starts. He's not this. That's some of the things I really liked about him. Again, here's some other clips from when he was on the Packers. But again, in coverage, his strength lines up with exactly what I believe Sean McDermott wants to do. Savage has excellent range. And again, you think about all the context of Damar Hamlin and Taylor Rapp. Given the development of Cole Bishop, this guy is going to be a great add for our team. I'm really excited for him to even as you just saw on the screen, jump those routes, get ahead of guys, and absolutely make big plays down the stretch. Here's his relative athletic score on the screen. But what makes him incredibly valuable is, I believe, his versatility as a player. He can play free safety. He can play strong safety. He can also add more and more of a help in the dime packages. We know that Teron Johnson has struggled with those. We know also that Cam Lewis hasn't been incredible, but the two of them are adding this third guy. We've got a guy who can play nickel. He can play in dime packages. He can also now play free or strong safety. 9 career interceptions, 32 passes broken up, 5 tackles for loss, and a bunch of fumbles forced. Again, we're adding depth to our safety room with this ad. Again, he's a zone mover. He's really good in zone coverage, which is exactly what Sean McDermott wants to do, especially now with Benford and Hairston out there. We have the speed and the youthfulness to keep up with receivers in man, while also allowing our safeties or some of our other corners to get out and move around. And most importantly, again, he is instant insurance for our team in light of losing Ingram to the Texans with all of this Darius Slay stuff. Savage gives the Buffalo Bills speed, flexibility, and those two things, especially in light of the recent events, is very, very important. But I want to talk about now some major injury updates. First and foremost, Terrell Bernard is definitely out Sunday, so we lose communication, but really, Shaq Thompson was already wearing the green dot last week, so that it's a loss, but it's not necessarily a big loss because that move was already being made. But with that, again, he's a good player nonetheless. He's struggled this season with the injuries that he's had. But again, we lose Terrell Bernard this week. Joey Bosa, I believe, is the biggest loss for us this week. So Buffalo will face the Bengals without Joey Bosa this week. He's got the hamstring and wrist injury. I believe the hamstring is really the bigger issue, which kept him out of practice. He's week to week. Earlier this week, Sean McDermott talked about how he hopes it's a 1 to 2 week thing and not a 3 to 4 week thing. But again, if he doesn't play, or he's not playing, but since he's not playing, this is going to add a little bit of hesitation. Even with AJ Epinesa not practicing and maybe having a vet rest day, we're not really sure what's going on there. But he did have a full practice on Friday. AJ Epinesa did, so he should be in there. But the big one that I'm looking at, just a quick aside, Josh Palmer is most likely out. He's not going to be playing as well. But the big one that I'm looking at right now is the game changer in Dalton Kincaid himself. This is the big storyline. He went from being limited the last couple of weeks with a hamstring injury to tweaking his knee in practice. And so he might play. He's questionable. He's a game time decision as far as we know. Frankly, I need him for Dynasty. I'm just outside of the playoffs. I need him for that. But regardless, the Buffalo Bills need him more importantly than any fake game for the game against the Bengals. Again, a Dalton Kincaid limited does really matter because even if you look at this, you look at how the Buffalo or how tight ends have been performing against other teams, specifically or against the Bengals. You can see that Sam Laporta, 92 yards, Isaiah Likely, 95. Pat Freiermuth and Colston Loveland have both gotten 2 touchdowns against this Bengals defense this year. And again, the explosive, athletic nature of Dalton Kincaid can really, I believe, win in those soft zones or win in the seam or even on those choice routes. Again, he can break leverage. And even if Dalton Kincaid plays, 50% of the snaps, we really can utilize him well against the Bengals. And so this is a guy that I really want in the game on Sunday against the Bengals. He would be a massive X factor for this team. Again, we would absolutely snuff the Bengals out of any playoff hopes if we beat them. They are playing for everything right now. They need to win out for even a chance to win their division and potentially punch the playoff ticket. This is an opportunity for the Buffalo Bills, just like they did last week against the Steelers, to show up and show a mediocre team at best that we still are a playoff contending team. This is a great opportunity. Again, Buffalo Bills, I believe, need Dalton Kincaid. I'm going to be watching his snap counts on Sunday if he does end up suiting up. I think it was a couple weeks ago. I don't have the stats right here on the screen, but but I believe that he only had like 19% of snaps, even when he had like 100 yards or something of the sort. He had a big game regardless of the low snap counts because of the way he was being utilized. One other thing before I get into some of that Darius Slay news that I want to talk about here is that the NFL just announced a league-wide overhaul of the field or field standards. And so this quietly matters long-term. If you don't know, currently Highmark Stadium, the one that's, that we're just finishing up the season with, is turf, and the new field that we're going to be having is grass, which really does matter, especially for player health with the soft tissue injuries. We had too many injuries on turf because of the turf monster. Saying that word a lot, but again, Buffalo is already one of the teams who are ahead of the curve with making sure that we're going to comply to these standards. For a team that's been absolutely hammered with these lower body soft tissue injuries, this new stadium couldn't come quick enough in regards to player health. Now, a lot of you guys are upset with the stadium for a lot of reasons, but again, in the short term, this is just a reminder that a lot of these injuries that we've had and sustained as a team, frankly, have been a result of turf issues and not just strength and conditioning issues, which that's one thing. But the last thing I briefly want to talk about, well, actually, one other thing that I saw this week that I think was important that I think the Buffalo Bills have some bounce back in. Now, this is just penalties that teams have had, teams versus opponents' penalty yards. The Buffalo Bills are near the bottom of this overall in the NFL. We're currently 28th. And so we have had a lot of extra yards being given. Now you could attribute that to bad coaching or just sloppy play by players. But there's regression coming with this, positive regression, if you'll even allow me to use that phrase, coming with this later on in the season. We can expect the Buffalo Bills to get extra yards here and there and regress back to the mean. But that being said, the last thing that I think was a really good move by Brandon Beane that I think a lot of people around the league are going to get really upset about is this. I'm going to read this from Ian Rappaport. The Buffalo Bills are placing cornerback Darius Slay on reserve/did not report list after he refused to show up in Buffalo after being claimed. So Buffalo will retain the rights of Darius Slay, which has massive implications. One, people across the league are going to be mad that we are in some senses holding hostage a player who is 34 years old and I believe did want to go to Philly. There are some tweets by his wife or some communication by Darius Slay's wife, allegedly, that was saying that he only wanted to go to Philly and that he was trying to weasel his way out of the Steelers to go to a team that could potentially go win a Super Bowl, because we know he just recently did that with the Eagles. But you know what? The Buffalo Bills are playing a little bit of hardball here, and I'm for it. I don't think a player gets to go beyond the rule book or beyond the standards, especially after the trade deadline, which makes all players subject to waivers, regardless of what he communicates. He has to show up if he wants to continue his NFL career. The Buffalo Bills are going to retain his rights. I'm okay with that. Let me know down in the comments what you think. Let me also know down in the comments what you think about Darnell Savage as a whole. It's a good move in light of the Ingram loss. I believe it's a short-term move for us. It's not this long-term addition, but it should be good. But again, in all of it, my name is Colin. This is Crack the Table. We're all Bills, no breaks, breaking down Buffalo Bills content every single day. If you, again, are looking for a home of Bills content, make sure to subscribe, join our community, smash the like button if you haven't already, if you're sticking with us to the end. And all of that being said, God bless, go Bills, have a great Saturday.